there was this 13, 14-year-old girl that had sent a message to me basically saying that she was about to commit suicide, and heard my song and stopped her, and I was like, wow. She's like, I had no idea who you were, but you saved my life. And I was like, wow. It's still hard to talk about, but me and my wife were like sitting in bed crying. She was like, dang, is this what it's going to be like all the time? And I was like, I don't know, but it has been, so pretty cool.
Zach Williams on the Joy FM. Thank you for coming in
and
doing your puppet reenactment there. I'm excited for that. I'm just joking. We're not going to do puppets.
All right. Don't make me take my socks off.
I won't. Okay, I won't. All right, let's jump into it because I have been listening to your new song, Looking for You. Recognized another voice in there.
Yeah.
Am I right, Dolly Parton?
You did, yeah.
Did I recognize it?
Yeah.
Okay. There is a line, a lyric that just, it grabbed my heart when I first heard it. When I couldn't find comfort in the things I could buy, when the party was over and the bottle was dry, you knew I was looking for you.
Yep.
That was so powerful because
That's
haven't we all been searching?
I mean, that's the thing. I think this song is relatable, to so many people. The title for my record came from this song. It was one of my favorite songs that I've written in a long time, and I just felt like it really described my journey and the years, that it's taken to be where I'm at, for years I searched for something to fill this void, this hole that, I thought the world could, offer, and realized that the only thing that fills that is Jesus. And my dad used to tell me that. He would say, I don't have an answer for you for what you're going through other than Jesus. And I used to hear this old saying, growing up in Arkansas, you hear all these old kind of sayings, but I heard this saying. It said the first place you find something is always the last place you look for it. And I had tried everything but Jesus. And so when I finally gave my life to the Lord, I realized I can look back and now see all those things that I was trying to fill the emptiness with could only be filled by him. And I realized all my life I've been searching for him. So it's been really cool to see people respond to this song. So.
And when you look back in your life, can you see the areas where God was going after you?
Absolutely. Like so many things. I mean, honestly, I probably shouldn't be here now, but he was pursuing me even though I wasn't pursuing him for a really long time. And so, it's pretty cool.
At least for me, I was raised in a church. I remember the first time I heard Jesus' voice in my heart.
Yeah.
But yet, all these years later, I will still walk away from him.
I know, yeah.
So it's I can say in the past, but then yesterday, when I was trying to take a walk away from him. But he's so faithful and pursues me.
Yeah, he still loves us.
He does.
Yep.
I want to tell you, I have a 11-year-old, actually 11 and 2 days year old. She would correct me now because she's like, at that age where every day counts. I have an
11-year-old as well. Yeah.
So her name is Ellie. And I said, Ellie, I'm going to be going down and meeting Zach Williams. She said, and it was so precious to me, okay, tell him I said hey.
Well, tell her I said hey.
Do you know why? Because you have a special way and a unique way of connecting with children.
Really?
So there was a concert that you did in the Joy FM listening area, and she loves you so much that you spent all of your time and not just with my daughter, with kids.
Really?
Yeah, because, a lot of times you're like, okay, nice to meet you, and move down the line because you had a line of people. But you got down and you looked at her and you talked to her in such a way that she's like, he's my friend. He knows me.
That's great.
We are friends together.
That's so cool.
So as a mom, and I'm sure as many moms out there, thank you.
Well, thank you. That's awesome. Tell her I got a kids book coming out.
That's my next question. Don't steal my thunder, Zach. Here's the reason why you are so special to my daughter and to so many people. It's the Fear is a Liar song.
Yeah.
So Ellie has a lot of anxiety, which as a parent feels really crushing, and it feels like you're a failure because you're like, what do you have to fear?
Yep.
Like you know the pillow you're going to put your head on.
Yep.
You're going to know you're going to have food. So as a mom, I'm like, baby, why?
Yeah.
I'm the parent, you're the kid, you just be a kid. But she did. And we would sing Fear is a Liar, and I would sing it to her, and I would quote the lines to her, and I'd say, Ellie, I think fear's lying to you.
Yeah.
I think it's robbing your joy and stealing your happiness. So throw that fear in the fire.
Yeah.
And we would sing that song to each other. And Zach, the cool thing is when your kids sing the songs back to you.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's so cool.
Well, I appreciate it. And then what would you say, not just to Ellie, not just to the 10 and 11-year-olds, but to all of us, when fear is lying to us, how do you stop it?
Yeah, I mean, that's tough because obviously we all go through those seasons in life, and, you know, fear can come in so many different ways, but I think if you've been perfected in God's love, if you're a believer in Jesus, there's nothing to be afraid of. The devil's been defeated, you know? Mm-hmm. So,
you know, as a believer and as an adult, the shame of not trusting God and feeling that fear.
Oh, I know. Trust me. My wife, she's always been my voice of reason, and I can remember when I go through my little ups and downs, you know, she'll be like, "Don't you believe those songs that you write?" And I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, "All right, I get it." So, yeah.
So is your wife, is she the
Kinda
one
puts
that
me in my place?
Is she has the biggest voice into you?
Yeah, she does, and she's probably got the most faith, and she's got the best discernment. So she's the one I listen to. Yeah.
That can speak the truth to you?
Yep, absolutely.
What's been the hardest truth that she said to you that you had to hear?
Oh, man. I think when I signed my record deal at 38 years old, like, we were basically starting all over. We were I left a job at a church with benefits, and I left all the stuff. We moved to Nashville, and I was like, this thing better work, you know? Mm-hmm. This better work, or I don't know what we're going to do. And she had the faith constant. She was like, it's going to work. She was like, God's already told me that. And so here we are.
That is amazing. Cool. I did not know that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So she's your cheerleader back at home?
She's my cheerleader for sure.
How do you bring your family into your ministry? I know you're the one that's writing the songs and singing it.
Well, I think for us, like, my wife has a really cool story. She's got an amazing testimony. My children, you know, they get to see us live it out in life. So they're, you know, they see what I do. They see what me and my wife do. And I see the little things that I catch them doing for other people and friends. So I'm like, okay, something's working here. Like, they're catching it, you know, because a lot of times I'm on the road, so we don't get to go to church a lot of times. I'm gone on Sundays, or my wife and kids go without me and things like that. So I'm always like, man, I hope they're like learning what they need to learn about Jesus. But then when I see some of the things that they do, I'm like, okay, they're figuring it out. Like, they're getting it. So it's pretty awesome.
You have had so many songs that have resonated with the Joy FM listeners, with my Ellie, with me, and so many people. And so might be a hard question, but is there one story that stands out?
There's a bunch of stories. I still think for me, maybe the first story that I ever got, because I didn't know, how this thing was going to go. And me and my wife, when I first signed my deal and Chainbreaker first went out to radio, I remember we were like, okay, we're gonna be able to handle all these Facebook messages and answer all these emails and this and that, and they just started coming in so fast that we couldn't keep up with everything. And I remember laying in bed one night, and there was this 13, 14-year-old girl that had sent a message to me basically saying that she was about to commit suicide, and heard my song and stopped her, and I was like, wow. Like, she's like, I had no idea who you were, but you saved my life. And I was like, wow. So it's pretty cool. Like, and it's still hard to talk about, but me and my wife were like sitting in bed crying. She was like, dang, is this what it's going to be like all the time? And I was like, I don't know, but it has been. So pretty cool. You got me crying on TV today.
Well, I mean, and then that, but think about it, like, that God brought you a wife that when you were like, I don't know if we can do this, she championed you, and therefore there is a girl that's alive today because you were willing to take the risk.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about something
happy.
Dang.
We went straight into it, didn't we?
We did.
Oh, man. Okay, then let's take a left turn.
Yeah.
I want to hear about your children's book because is it going to be out? Here's my biggest question. Is it going to be out in time for Christmas?
It comes out this summer. It's called A Little More Like Jesus. and it's based off of the song "Less Like Me," kind of based off the fruits of the spirit. And I just think it's targeted for 4 to 8 year olds, but Ellie will like it. So I'm a cartoon character. I got to see myself as a cartoon character, and we kind of followed the Less Like Me video with the bus. So I'm driving the bus, and we're picking up kids, and each little stop's a different fruit of the spirit, and it's just kind of a tool to teach children, how to deal with their emotions and what they're going through. And so I think it'll be a really cool book for kids. And it was just fun for me to get to do a kids book. So
Did you ever think that would be?
I never thought that would ever happen. I'm glad it did, because I remember, a lot of the books that I read to my kids. So when they were like, let's find the artwork that you like. So I started going and pulling all these books off the shelf that we still had, that I was like, I like the artwork that's in this book and the colors of this. And so that was the fun part for me, because I went to college for graphic design degree. And so that whole like art part of it was like really cool to get to pick out and find the right artist to help illustrate the book. And so it was cool.
That is awesome.
Yeah,
so you're a recording artist, you're a writer, and also a foodie. I heard that you're a really good chef. When I went and took my daughter in the meet and greet before the concert, they were like, hey, we got a couple more tickets if you want to eat. And I was like, okay. I was thinking like hot dogs and popcorn.
Oh, no.
And it was like a feast.
Yeah. So I don't make that, but I probably could. So I've got a guy that travels with me. His name's Paul Fields, and he lives in Napa, California about half the year, and then just bought a place down in Tennessee. But amazing chef, and really cool story. I met him. He was working with the Salvation Army. He had created a culinary program for the Salvation Army to help get people off the streets and incarceration, homelessness, addiction. And they do this culinary program, and then they get them back out into the workforce. And so I'd gone down to play an event for him. And when I tried his food, I was like, all right, how do I talk this guy into, going on tour and doing this? And so we figured it out, and so we've been doing it now for a little over 5 years. And so he does about 60 shows a year with me, and we do a VIP dinner before the show, and
it's delicious.
It's good. And this summer we're trying a few new ones. We're doing some backyard picnics, so it's going to be kind of a bigger scale with games and kind of hanging out backstage with fans. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh man! Yeah. So cooking for you is just another creative outlet?
Yeah, I love to cook. I mean, golly, every time I'm home, like my wife, she does this like HelloFresh stuff, so our fridge is just full of like pre-made meals, because she's like, when you're gone, I have no time to like do this. I'm running kids around. It's going to be what it is. And so, and then she always tries to rub it in my face. She's like, the kids actually like my cooking better than yours, because they say you're too fancy. And so, I'm like, well, I don't want to come home and eat Hamburger Helper and green beans out of a can and stuff like that. But she's like, well, they actually like that. And I'm like, kids, do y'all like my food better or your mom's? And then they'll be like, I mean, mom's is all right. And so
it covers a nut.
I love to come in and my daughter, my youngest, like, she loves to go to Publix. Like, that's her thing. She's like, are you going to Publix today? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, can I go? And I'm like, yeah, get ready. We'll leave in a minute. So, and then she likes to help me cook. My son is just getting into it. He maybe made the best mac and cheese I've ever had Thanksgiving this past year. He had a recipe he found on TikTok, and he was like, I'm making mac and cheese for Thanksgiving this year. And I was like, go for it. And so I didn't hardly help him at all, and it turned out to be really good. Like, it was one of those baked mac and cheeses. It was good.
I am so impressed, because I can't cook. So when I hear that people do and they do it well and people actually want to eat your food, I'm like, how is this possible?
Yeah, so he's not here so I can say it, but I actually beat Paul, my chef, in a cooking competition on our cruise this past year.
Wow, yeah. That's impressive.
And it was voted on by the head chef of the ship that we were on.
So it's like non-biased person.
Yeah, so he just came in, didn't know whose was whose, and it really bothered him that I beat him.
I'm sure. So, he went to school for what he did, and you're like, just whip this up.
I said, yeah, you probably need to put a little more salt in there. Oh,
that's terrible.
Just give him a hard time.
All right, I made you cry, and I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's all good.
So we're gonna do the disco.
Teddy bear.
I think we have like a minute left, something like that. But we have we're gonna do something called the Disco Ball of Fun. Disco Ball of Fun. Oh, I have questions in here.
All right.
You just dig in and see if there's one that you want to answer.
Current passion project. Golly. I think it's probably, we bought a house last April, and we have worked on that house for over a year. We bought a house. We gutted it.
Wow.
We remodeled the whole thing, and we just moved in like 3 weeks ago. I say we. My wife moved in 3 weeks ago. We were on the road, and she just finally said, "I'm taking everything over, and when you come home from the next show, drive to the new house."
Wow.
And so we've been kind of living out of unpacked boxes and trying to get our stuff kind of situated, and that has been like our dream for a while. Like since
Do you
we
love
moved
it?
to Tennessee. Oh, we do. Since we moved to Tennessee, we've wanted land. You know, I grew up in the country, and we've just wanted a place to kind of like be a little private. And so our kids are in a school down in Columbia, Tennessee, and so we moved a little closer. So we're south of Nashville, probably 45 minutes now, but it's so peaceful. And
Yeah.
I was telling one of the guys, I was talking to a radio gal last night, and they've got some land in Chattanooga, and he was like, I said, it feels like you go on vacation when you come home. And I was like, that's what I've always wanted, is to be able to like come home and actually just decompress. And so that's my passion project right now, is getting all this stuff done so that I can literally just come home and not have to work. It's like,
Yeah. Like go
just
ahead and hang
enjoy.
the frames and stuff
Hang
like that.
out, yes.
All right, do we have time for one more maybe?
Sure. What's the weirdest thing you've ever eaten? That's easy. A live baby octopus. We were in Japan, and I do not recommend ever doing this. But we were in Japan, and we were doing one of those merry-go-round sushi bars, where it's just constant plates moving around with food on it. You just pick what you want, and you're stacking little plates. And
Wow.
we kept seeing this one come around, and this was in my like old band days too. So I was a little wilder, little up for any kind of challenge. And one of my band guys was like, I dare you guys to eat that, and nobody would do it. So the next time it come around, I grabbed it straight into some soy sauce, straight into my mouth, and as I started swallowing this thing, tentacles started trying to grab the sides of my throat, and I couldn't get it to go down. And so I started having a panic attack.
Well,
so I'm like drinking as much stuff as I can to just try to flush it down my throat, and I finally get it down. And I was like, I'll never do that again. But that was the weirdest thing.
I'm just thinking about the baby octopus that was having a panic attack, trying to like not be
it probably
swallowed
was.
down a man's
Probably
throat.
was. But I mean, it was like, it was only like that big. It was just a little. It's like what you see when you see the fried calamari, and you get the ones that are like the little baby octopus. So on that trip, two of the weirdest things. So octopus, and then I tried tripe, which is like part of a cow's stomach. And it was the grossest thing I've ever eaten. It was like chewing up a rubber band that smelled like a toilet.
Zach,
it was disgusting.
I love your music, but I won't ever travel with you.
So
if this
come
is
over
how
to my
you're
house. That's what we're having for dinner.
Trips.
Yeah. No.
Zach, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Thank you
Appreciate
for
you guys.
putting out music
Thank you.
that is the anthem to so many
I
people.
appreciate that. Thank you, guys.